my gosh, it feels like another world. I mean, feels like another world.
Feels like another world.
Yeah.
Yes, multiple worlds.
Yeah. The question kind of evaporated when I was raising.
Wonderful.
Anyway, what prompted me first is the first speaker who was speaking about forgiveness. A few months ago, I was listening to a Hawaiian teacher about Ho'oponopono. It struck me. He's a co-author of a book called Zero Limits. It's just not worry about who else is here, because there's nobody really here other than us. The inside is far more important than outside. And so really, there's in Ho'oponopono directed to ourselves is really doesn't matter. Only the divinity or the zero, who is the space, can only forgive. Nobody else can. I'm not capable of forgiving except who I really am. And like one of the earliest Eckhart's teachings, Power of Now. So it's like saying to ourselves, pretty much to ourselves, and I know it, if I say it, even doesn't make sense to me, but inside it somehow does in those moments. Please forgive me, I'm sorry, thank you, I love you. It's just saying to ourselves. And according to this teacher, when I say I love you to ourselves, it actually takes away some of the data. They also, is the space, or this is also that is calling us, and it's very hard to talk about this. This is also, he talks a lot about cleaning so that we can actually be at the zero, at the space, or at the energy.
To clear yourself? Is that what you said? Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, on another level, when I wanted to say I felt a movement in the energy, the energy is also helping us. Space and energy are one, and to be there. So the word I love you is along with breath and feeling the energy and everything is actually calling us from inside. That's the best I could say. I can't say more, because the moment I say it, really, it doesn't make sense to me.
I know what you mean. I'm like, what am I going to say when I get out here? I mean, there's nothing to say. Yeah. And there really isn't anything to say. The words just point. And any spiritual teaching is pointing you right back to yourself. God is within. Heaven is within.
Yeah. Thank you. And so I use it constantly. I'm constantly attacked by a pain body in my heart. So I just do this. I say I love you, and then cleansing breaths, and I listen to Eckhart, and Eckhart Tolle TV helps me a lot. So I just wanted to say.
What was the last part?
Eckhart Tolle TV and your, both of you. I've been listening for quite a while, but there's also, if you say one more thing about it, that there's nothing in that is, it's very gentle, and my noise is much heavier. Louder.
Very loud, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know how I get back there. I really have no idea, to that gentle calling. And
can you find the space in you now? The zero.
Yeah, zero.
And that's it. The rest is noise. And the more that you pay attention to that zero, you called it zero, through that other teacher, that space, then that space will get bigger and bigger. It happens as you become aware and place some of your attention on that space, even amidst the noise, the loudness. Because one will win out. If you pay attention to space, and space is infinite. But it's also very quiet. It has no demands. It doesn't want anything.
Yeah.
But if you pay attention to the form, or if there's some sort of attachment to the form, identification with form, with the noise in your head, then it just becomes louder and louder, and it takes over the space. I don't know whether you've heard it, but maybe you have if you've watched HTV. I've given the example of a flute, like say a bamboo flute. I love bamboo, so bamboo flute. And even though the flute has a form, the essence of the flute, in order to have the beautiful music that life, consciousness wants to play through this flute, is the whole, the space, is what creates the music, or is able to make the sound of the music coming through when life blows into this flute. So if we take every thought, and thoughts come, but if we believe in that thought, identify with that thought, somehow grab onto that thought and place it into that hole of the flute. So here it arises. In this case, say our body's thoughts just arise, but if we identify with it, we kind of somehow, in a way, store it in us. Or every emotion that arises, we place into this flute. And imagine these emotions and these thoughts or these experiences or the stories we tell ourselves, whatever, is a bean, a kidney bean, a lima bean, whatever kind of bean, a coffee bean. And we keep filling ourselves with it because we're identified with it and believe in it so much that when life wants to use us, so in other words, we pick up the flute and we try to blow to make music, beautiful music, nothing will come out. God cannot use us. We cannot use the flute because it's full of beans. So it is our work to empty, to allow, because thoughts arise, emotions arise, it's human nature, and it's just what's happening. But if we learn to not attach ourselves, and we begin to understand, it's not so much a learning, but an understanding, that you know that you are not your thought, your emotion, or anything, then we allow that to pass through. So go back to the healing of allowing things, because things come up, and we just allow it to pass through, and it no longer gets stored in us. And then we are open channels. We are the empty space in which life can use us for that moment, and this moment, and the next moment, and the next moment. So it's a returning home to who you are, and that space, zero, nothing else. And yet there's everything that arises within that space. And it could challenge you because there's lots of things that could arise. But where is that space? You keep feeling it inside.
Thank you.
And then we begin to see that it's not only inside, but it's everywhere, because it's the totality of things. It's space, vast, empty space. The awareness is vast, empty, infinite. And some days it's stronger than other days to be able to tap into that space. But when we're filled with stuff and we can't seem to get there, don't even try to get there, because that defeats it. You're trying to get something that's already here. So you just give yourself the space to allow everything to be there, even if you're full of emotions and thoughts, and you'll find that space again. Or rather, it finds you.
When you said infinite, I got a goosebump. Is that means I'm connecting? A feeling. I'm blind. I'm just. Yes.
You're what?
At some level, I'm blind, just with some feelings.
You're blind. Is that what you said? Blind.
Blind in some sense, but with some sensation with which I'm moving on. Sorry. I mean, just like a blind man in the street just walks with the stick, somehow makes sense of the road. That's how it feels.
Right now?
All times, but I'm just
all the time
saying it. But there's something happening, but it's so hard to
blind,
say.
but now I can see. How does that song go? What is that? What's the words? Yeah, amazing grace. Yeah. We are all blind until we can see. And hallelujah when that day comes. Moment comes, and it comes and goes. We cannot control it. We think we can, and we like to, but we can't. That's one pointer to it. Another pointer would be, as consciousness, as who we are, we can choose for more consciousness. See, it's just pointers. You're just bumbling inside. You're tingling.
Yeah, start from the hand like you.
I know. Stay with it.
Thank you.
It's the aliveness.
Yeah. At least this moment feels great. Yeah.
They're alive.
Aliveness. Aliveness. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Can you stay with that aliveness as you walk back?
Yes, I will. Thank you.
Okay. So, that was just beautiful to end in aliveness. Or begin. So let's just have a moment of silence. And really keep on feeling that inner body. That inner body, we can call it our joy body, our giggle body, our peace body. And it shows up as a different sensation every time. Sometimes it's subtle, sometimes it's strong. And the real practice begins when you step outside that door into the world. God is the nothingness, is within you, is you. That's the being in you. And the human is the part that gives us grief. Thank you.